Mr. Arm, VELDA VON MINX, here at Trundle Manor. You are the keepers of the manor, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And Von Minx, is that the Northampton Von Minxes?
Oh, yes.
Yes, I thought I recognized it. Yes, the classic. So, what's going on here? What is Trundle Manor?
Trundle Manor is our little piece of heaven as far as we go, but really it's just a tourist trap that we try to lure people in with. It's our private collection that got big enough to open to the public, and we've been doing it for about 6 years now.
So would you describe it as antiques, oddities?
It's a little of everything.
That and more, yeah. Different murdering devices, taxidermy. We're like the professional Addams Family, we've said. But we've sort of made it more than that.
But the manor is open to the public, is this true?
Yeah, we do, it's all by appointment, and it's all by donation, and it's, just sort of our after-hours thing to do, as opposed to our jobs that make us money, because unlike the Addams Family, we are not affluent as far as that goes.
We try.
Where did the Addams Family's riches come from? Did they ever describe
They
it?
were privately wealthy, they said. Investments maybe. They didn't really describe it.
Yeah, I always wondered about that.
It looked like pirate gold, it seemed like.
Okay.
Something unsavory.
Once again, old money.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. So what do you think is probably the most unusual object that you've acquired here?
Most unusual. Well, one of the favorites.
We always go for Olivia's singing tumor. It was the tumor removed from the uterus of a belly dancer. That's one of our friends.
Good friend of
locally. And she was able to keep it somehow. So now it's in a little jar and it sings. It has its own theme song.
Wow. All right, that's hard to beat. I'll give you that one. What have been some of the reactions that visitors have had upon touring Trundle Manor?
So far, all good.
Yeah, we've never had a very negative response. Nobody ever left screaming or crying or yelled things at us. We have a guest book, and there's all kind of affirmations from people.
Oh, yes.
Also, penis is drawn. Yeah. We get some interesting people.
And I think it feels to me, having met you, that it's your own personal style exploded onto the walls, a
lot of things that have exploded onto the walls.
Is there any big acquisition that you're after that you feel Trundle Manor just has to have that we haven't been able to get our hands on yet?
He is a favorite.
A vulture?
Yes, always.
Are you
always
looking for
wanted
one?
A vulture.
It's incredibly illegal, but we need one.
Yes.
Oh, because they're endangered.
Something
Bird
like
of
that.
prey,
I think any birds of, any condors are illegal to have, which would be hawks, vultures, things like that.
So we need to find a vulture that has died of natural causes.
You need to get the animal, what are they called?
Is it the EPA?
Something like that.
Yeah.
You need to get them involved so they can sign off on being allowed to have that kind of thing.
All right.
Which I have no idea how to do.
And I want to have a wax museum. I want to be the costumer for a wax museum. Maybe in the basement.
Oh, that would
Maybe
be
as an addition.
Yeah.
That would be neat. Who would be your first celebrity acquisition?
It depends on what we can find. Well, yeah, Vincent Price, because of the whole House of Wax situation.
I can make one.
You should. You really should just sculpt a Vincent Price head.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Vincent Price. What's your favorite Vincent Price movie?
Probably Dr. Phibes. He's got so many, but that one is just so perfect in every way.
Oh wait, that's not with the centipede. That was the Tingler.
That was the Tingler, yeah.
Okay.
No, Dr. Phibes was the one where his wife died, and it's the Art Deco one where he is the assistant and he's killing all the doctors in the biblical plays.
Yes. They tend to blend together in my recollection a little bit.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't often play someone different from himself.
No, he plays Vincent Price every single time, which is why I love him so much.
Even in the Ten Commandments, which I think had the most wacky casting, he was even Vincent Price in there.
Pharaoh.
He was sort of whipping the,
enjoying it in such a smarmy way.
Right, and it was so
yes.
creepy and decadent. Yeah, so even in ancient Egypt, he was still Dr. Phibes, Well, here's to Vincent Price.
Yes.
I think it's good to remember him today. Now, you have been kind enough to make me a Trundle Manor cocktail here. Our martinis aren't usually bright green, but what are we having here today?
I promise.
Well, I hope not, because I have been enjoying it.
Although isn't all alcohol. In the best way.
Tastes a little bit like licorice. What are we having here today?
The standard drink at Trundle Manor has always been absinthe. It's the old world way to be. And we found a distributor that distributes just to us, so we're quite happy about it.
Wow. Now, is that a fancy way of saying bootlegging?
In a way.
Just some of the interesting things in this room. There's beautiful hookah, for example. I think you and the president of the Carnegie Library are the only two guests that have ever had a hookah during an interview. And yours is nicely lit. Yes, agreed. A lot of taxidermy here, and I believe that both of you are taxidermists, yes?
When we need to be.
Mm-hmm. Now, what that is a little spooky. Define when we need to be. If somebody needs to hide a body or something, we'll stuff it and make it look like something else.
Sure.
You know?
I could do that, yeah. But really, the simplest saying at Trundle Manor has always been, if we can't find something, we find out how to make it.
Oh,
so we had to teach ourselves quite a lot of different techniques. Taxidermy being one of them, because we didn't like or want the gaffery that other people were creating. We started getting a few beloved family pets, and to make them proper, which we gave the disclaimer, you have to know what we're going to do with this, right? We ended up making fighting catfish, which you could imagine is half cat and half something else. What would that be, darling?
Half cat, half, is it some kind of bottom feeder, a carp?
Oh, it's a fish.
Perhaps.
It's just a fish.
Oh, yes, half cat, half fish.
So you'll splice traditional taxidermy together to create a new
Oh, right behind
creature.
you is the werewolf mermaid.
I think that...
Oh, you know, amazingly, I hadn't focused on that yet, just only because there's so much. But yes, there is a wolf with flippers behind me. Oh yeah, and a very nice fish tail. Well, that's going to unsettle me for the rest of this interview. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, we're in great company here. What do you feel has been your greatest taxidermical success?
That's a good question.
Our love story, if you'd like to tell.
Oh, sure. Our first date was doing taxidermy in the basement.
My greatest success in taxidermy.
Yeah, I hadn't learned how to do it, and he was going to teach me. He said, I have a freezer full of dead squirrels if you'd like to learn taxidermy in my basement.
And this was your first date?
Yes.
So it was love at first slice. Yeah, or love at first slice. You've said this before.
Yeah, we kind of have lines. But I do costuming, so I had to dress them up as a bride and groom. They're up there. And they handed me my engagement ring in the cemetery.
Oh, how long have you been married?
We've been engaged for a while, but we're not married yet.
Oh, I didn't mean to put the pressure on.
That's
This
right.
November.
Oh,
yes.
Congratulations.
And they will be the wedding cake toppers.
And we can make an appointment with you to come and tour. And what is a tour here like?
It's about 45 minutes. I'll usually lead them around through all the rooms in the downstairs, talk about each little thing. I kind of tailor it to the people, so if they're more interested in one thing, I'll talk about that.
It's always one-on-one, too.
It's very intimate
We don't like
experience.
the merge tours.
No.
And we do it by donation, so sometimes that's a bottle of liquor, sometimes it's cash, sometimes it's dead things. We're open.
But not Diners Club, right?
No, we don't take
God, no way. No, American Express, forget it. Do you feel that you get a lot of visitors that are outside of the region?
Mostly, yeah.
Oh, really? So it is outside tourists that are primarily
We've had
coming.
people from other countries. We've had a lot of college people, a lot of just tourists, going around the country, various things like that.
Yeah, the thing that finally for me solidified that we were an official tourist trap this was early on, but we had a family that had come from Wisconsin area, somewhere like that, and they were only traveling through Pennsylvania to take their kid to Boy Scout camp. And the only reason they stopped in Pittsburgh was for us. And it was this rotund family with all of them with glasses and short, nice haircuts, and they looked like the atypical American family from all the TV shows in the 90s that we grew up with. And to me, that was like, oh, you came just for us? That's amazing, and you were on a road trip. How perfect. We are now a tourist trap.
You've made it.
I hope that they enjoyed it enough, but not too much to make it an actual tourist destination. Have to stay a trap always.
Right, so yeah, they actually pay to get out.
Yes.
Right? And you know what I think is great? We're filming this on the 4th of July, so outside there's like fireworks going off. It sounds like gunshots or cannon fire.
I'm not sure, actually.
It's adding such a nice hint of drama to this interview. It's just perfect. Now, am I mistaken, or was that a hearse outside? Now, what do your neighbors think of everything that goes on here?
The neighbor across the street gave us a dead squirrel. Their boy, who was about 10, came up holding it, so they understand.
No, see, that is nice community spirit. I'm thinking, oh, your neighbors might bring you a pie, but they bring you a dead squirrel, you're just as impressed.
Oh, we'd love a pie.
Oh, I'll take a pie.
And I actually am redecorating now, so I'm getting a lot of ideas.
Yeah, please be inspired.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think I need a, caribou with a top hat.